Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Today's inflation numbers of 3% year over year confirm what hardworking American taxpayers already know, that Donald Trump and Republican policies are making life too expensive in the United States of America. Donald Trump and Republicans promise that costs will go down on day one, but costs haven't gone down in the United States of America. Costs are going up. Inflation is up, the highest number since January of this year. Housing costs are too high. Grocery costs are too high. Electricity bills are through the roof. And now, because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, tens of millions of Americans are receiving notices right now that their health care premiums are about to skyrocket. In some instances, everyday Americans are going to pay $1,000 or $2,000 more per month. That is unsustainable in an environment where people are already struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, can't thrive, and can barely survive. We need House Republicans to come back to Washington, D.C. End your 4-week vacation. Enough already. We as Democrats, House Democrats, Senate Democrats, are ready to sit down anytime, any place with anyone here at the Capitol or over at the White House to negotiate a bipartisan agreement, reopen the government so we can pay our hard-working federal employees, while at the same time, we need to decisively address the Republican health care crisis. It's crushing people all across the country. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and Republicans on Capitol Hill are nowhere to be found, have zero interest in actually addressing this issue. That's a shame. Questions?
Leader Jeffries, the New York mayoral race early voting, as you know, starts tomorrow. Are you ready to endorse Mamdani in it?
Stay tuned.
Leader Jeffries.
We are now at this point, day 24 of the shutdown. SNAP benefits are running out. People are starting to go without paychecks again. Now insurance premiums are already starting to go out. Republicans continue to say they're not going to do anything until the government is reopened. Is there a point where you just have to accept reopen the government?
The problem that the country confronts right now is that Donald Trump and Republicans decided to shut the government down. Like, what's unclear about the fact that Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency? And from the very beginning of this year, they've taken a my way or the highway approach, have steamrolled the country in all of the things, jamming their right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people. And now Republicans are claiming that they're helpless. The problem that we have right now is that House Republicans refuse to come back. They've literally been on vacation for 4 consecutive weeks. Donald Trump has found all of the time in the world to play golf. He can try to extort $230 million to line his pockets from the Department of Injustice. Somehow the Trump administration found $40 billion to bail out a right-wing wannabe dictator in Argentina, but can't find a dime to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits in order to make life and health care more affordable for hardworking American taxpayers. And Donald Trump is demolishing parts of the White House in real time. Why? So he can construct some gaudy ballroom where he can be celebrated as if he was a king. All of this has been happening during the 24 days of the Trump Republican shutdown. But they can't find a moment to talk with Democrats to find a bipartisan solution forward to reopen the government and to address the health care crisis that they are inflicting on the American people. That's why we find ourselves in this situation, and we need Republican support for a bipartisan path forward in order to get out of this situation.
Leader Jeffries,
Yeah.
you just said that you would stay tuned on a Mamdani announcement. What more do you need to hear at this point? How many more conversations do you need to have? Why are you
Same
refusing
answer.
to endorse?
Same
Why
answer.
are you refusing to endorse?
I have not refused to endorse. I have refused to articulate my position, and I will momentarily at some point in advance of early voting.
Leader Jeffries,
you.
Leader Jeffries. Thank you, Leader Jeffries. There are some bipartisan talks going on in the Senate on trying to pay federal workers that are currently furloughed right now. Would you support any legislation that comes out of the Senate, and are you aware of any talks, similar talks happening in the House between House Republicans and House Democrats?
Yeah, we're prepared to support any bipartisan legislation that comes out of the Senate that is designed to decisively address the Republican health care crisis, reopen the government, and enact a bipartisan spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people. That's what we're prepared to support.
Leader Jeffries, good morning. I understand the Democrats' position on health care and Obamacare here, but with the open enrollment period starting on the 1st, hasn't that ship legislatively sailed?
No, the challenge is going to become even more significant for Congress and the President to deal with if this government shutdown drags on to November 1st. Open enrollment starts on November 1st. At that point in time, Americans all across the country are going to begin to further realize that their premiums, copays, and deductibles are going to skyrocket. And why is that happening? Because Republicans decided earlier this year that they'd rather gut Medicaid and then provide massive tax breaks to their billionaire donors, make those tax breaks permanent, but now, as we approach open enrollment, have zero interest in actually extending Affordable Care Act tax credits that benefit working families, middle-class families, and everyday Americans. And so the crisis has grown worse because of Republican inaction over the last several weeks. And if we get to November 1st and we hit open enrollment and Republicans have still refused to act with respect to the Affordable Care Act tax credits, I think that's going to increase the intensity and need for urgent legislative action to take place.
Is retroactivity viable?
Yes.
Explain.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Senator Thone has maintained that he believes a path out of